happened, I appeared to lose my stream, and I picked up a loss right when that happened. I don't know if it was on the stream when it was happening or if the stream already cut out, but I got top ticked. I was going to move my stop above this bar, and I tried to move it too late, and I got top ticked, and then it went on to work. And I was hesitant to move it because it was more risk, but it wasn't a whole lot more risk. I should have just moved it, but I didn't do it fast enough. So I'm not going to trade this chart anymore. I literally just dropped it above this bar like a split second too late, and it stopped me out one tick above my my signal bar. All right, so I don't know what's going on with my stream. It seems like it keeps stopping. I'm going to pick a new account to trade. All right, valuation 35. Looks like one of my other charts also is no longer good, so I've got to pick a new one for that. So charts are dropping off. Yeah, hey Saggy. Yeah, we had our daylight savings time where the hours, the clock moves forward an hour, spring forward. See, Gary says, hey bro, watch some of your videos over the weekend, enjoy your analysis, and chill. Appreciate it, Gary. Yeah, not off to a great start today. Got a loss already, but I appreciate that. And yeah, just trying to do my thing here and figure out how to make good things happen. Let's see. Here's my loss. I got top ticked. Literally got top ticked, and then it went on to work. I tried to move my stop above this bar right as this bar was coming up, but I guess I dropped it too late and it took me out. I don't know if my stream caught it because I had to restart my stream. So it seemed like it was working right up until right around the same time. So I'm not sure if it caught the recording or not. Yeah, man, lost on the PA. This one was a couple hundred above starting balance. So now I've got 2 under the starting balance, which is a bummer, but it's just part of the game. I'm not going to let a single loss get to me, even if it's on the PA. Especially when it's like literally got taken out by a tick. The high is 66.75. I got taken out at 67. My rule, usually the thing that's difficult is my rule is if my signal bar, the bar that I enter after, gets engulfed on the next bar, it's okay for me to move my stop to the next swing high or low. The problem is with the PA account, because it's a 25K account, I have less drawdown than like a 50K account. So I have to be really careful when I'm going to move it to a previous swing. And let me do this again. So so here's my bar that I entered after. The high is 66.75. I got taken out here at 67. So taken out by 1 tick. I could have moved my stop to the previous swing high, which was this one, and it would have been safe in this situation, the way it played out. But I got to be careful on the 25K account that when I do move it, that I'm not like going to kill the account if I'm wrong. So I was thinking about moving it to this previous swing high, and then I was just hesitant because I didn't know really how much of a difference it was, because the bars are bigger than they appear. So really the high here was 69. So we're only talking about, we're talking about an extra 2 points. So I was hesitant whether I was going to move it up or not. And right when I tried to move it up, it took me out before I dropped it above that bar. So it took me out, unfortunately. But hey, it's just one loss. I've got a lot of accounts, and still got 1,000 drawdown on that account. So my attitude is I'll get it back another time. And meanwhile, work on other accounts. Yeah, definitely not the way I wanted to start on a Monday. Oh, I never updated my stats. Let me do that. All right, so I'm only working off of 3 charts now, because that first one I took the loss on. I'm not going to trade that again. And it's interesting because that same chart, every entry worked until the trade I took that didn't. And then immediately after it, another trade didn't work on that same chart. So that's why I don't trade the same chart twice after a loss. Just an observation I've made that it seems like typically when a chart finally takes a loss, it's more likely to take another loss. So I'll just wait for the next setup. The next account I'm trading on is Evaluation 35. Saggy says, I was now analyzing my trades this weekend and I realized problem is not in my strategy. Problem is in my mindset. My setup is giving me signal and still I'm not taking the trade because of fear. Yeah, man. I've been there. I mean, that's part of why I like what I'm doing right now, because it's more of a black and white system where I can't talk myself out of trades. But yeah, that's definitely a huge issue for a lot of traders. I think is you learn a strategy, it works pretty well, or at least you can see the possibility of it working really well. Because when you go through and look at the trades after the fact, you could see which ones you were supposed to take that worked versus the ones that didn't work, and you go, oh, I would have taken all of those. But in real time, fear and doubt creep in your mind when you're trading, and your trades are based on analysis. And so you find reasons to either talk yourself out of the trade, or you're fearful. What if you're wrong? And then you'll get a loss. And yeah, it's really difficult. I mean, I've definitely been there a lot. When I was applying rules to my trades and going by like more of an analysis based trading, I would talk myself out of good trades all the time. And then inevitably what you do is you talk yourself out of the ones that work, and then you end up taking the ones that don't work. I don't know what it is, but somehow our minds get tricked. And the ones we happen to enter are the ones that don't work for some reason, or at least don't work enough that it holds us back. And then there's so many that would have worked, but we find reasons to not take them. So yeah, I can relate. I've definitely been there. That's what I like about what I'm doing now is looking for charts where my entries are consistently working for the session, and deciding that I just have to take every entry. Like even today I got a loser, right, by a single tick, which is a little frustrating, because it would have been a winner otherwise. But my system says if I have an entry, I just got to take it, and like it's not. I'm not in a situation anymore where I'm talking myself out of trades. There's like very, very few rules where I'll decide to skip something, but otherwise, my edge is supposed to be that I just have to take every trade right now, and even if I get a loss, I don't have to feel too bad about it, because I just did what my system and my edges, which is take the trade and get the loss. You get the loss and move on. take the next trade. Yeah, Gary says, right, all psychology. Saggy says, this weekend I set up some rules and try to follow that plan. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with both of you. I mean, it definitely, the psychology part is the part that, you kind of overlook when you get into trading. You think like, okay, all I got to do is learn a really good system. And if I have a really good system, then, and I've seen it work and I've seen other people use it and make it work, then I should be able to make it work. And so you learn it. Hold on here. Let me see if there's a potential trade coming up. I'll get back to the conversation in a minute. I'm just going to wait for the setup. Yeah, Gary says, yep, trading is easy. Mastering your mind is not. Yeah, for real. I'll get back to the conversation just after the next trade here, because it looks like something might be setting up here soon. I'm just trying to figure out which chart to look at, because I've got 3 charts that all have the same potential setup coming near each other. $104 tick bar. I mean, that's just, it's crazy. 104 ticks. Gary says, done for the day. Close the old broker so I don't do something stupid. Yeah, if you've hit your profit target, not a bad idea. Not really sure what's going on with the market right now. I'm just trying to focus here so that when the next trade comes, I don't miss it. This thing's moving up pretty strong here. No problem, do your thing. We're just along for the ride. This is your journey. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. What I wouldn't mind is it gets up to the opening price and then gives me a short, but I have a feeling it's going to happen before that. If I can get into a short right off the opening price, which is this white line, I think I'd like that. This is just going to go right through it. All right, so got a little one there. Yeah, I like playing these levels, playing off of them. Kind of important highs or lows or opening price or previous closing price. So that was just on Eval 35. I get 3 3/4 points. So you can see, I don't know if this is going to end up going higher now from here, but going for a small enough target that it doesn't take much for it to work. And, I just like playing off those levels. I picked up some losses recently where I was trading into those levels and, they work as resistance or support. So trading into them is not a great idea. So that's kind of the one rule I've added is not to take a setup going into them, but I'll take a setup coming off of them, using them as support or resistance every time for sure. Not a bad idea. Maybe it will turn to support. Nice scalp. They're scary right now with 100.5-minute candles. Yeah, I mean, I'm working on tick charts and I'm having the same issue. This was a 57 tick bar, so not quite as bad, but I saw on some of my other charts that there were some 100 tick bars, so it's definitely a little bit scary right now. But this trade was easy to take because it's just on an evaluation. So, and of course it's on my, worst standing evaluation at the moment, but let me update my stats and then I'll move on to picking out which my next accounts I'll trade with. All right, so moving on to the next account. This is my new thing. Remove 35, I played that already, and spin the wheel, and this is how I'm picking my accounts now. All right, evaluation 31 is next. And I'm just doing that because I didn't like having to decide, oh, now I'm gonna be trading with my PA or this one or that one. I just wanted to not have to really think about it. So I decided to spin the wheel to choose how Gary says love it. Yeah, because it's just I have all these accounts. I'm trading them one at a time. And, sometimes you pick up a loss after you made a decision, which account you're trading. It's just annoying. You're like, oh, I wish I didn't pick that one. So I'm going to just take that decision making out of my own hands. Bro got new idea of a spin. Yeah. I just wanted I wanted no ownership over which account I trade next. It's just something else to tell me this is the account you're going to trade now. And I like to just go with it. And it's just one less decision I have to make. All right, so picked up another win here. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is a trade that I would never be able to take. Trading my old usual system. It's a terrible looking signal bar. It's bearish. But there's a first entry above this bar here, and then this is the second entry. And, I'd have reason to believe that we kind of bottomed out over here. But it really has nothing to do with my analysis. It has just more to do with the fact that this chart, every entry has worked so far for the entire session. So I'm just going to keep taking the trades best I can. Eval 31. And not put too much of my own analysis into it. Very little of my own analysis is part of what I'm doing here. Very little, which allows me to take more trades. So let's see. Looks like I got 5.5 points. Uh, 22 ticks. All right, so I'll update my stats again, and then I'll take a look at the chat. All right, and I just realized I haven't been updating my days traded. Here, let's see. This is number 7 now. 31. This is number 11 now. So getting close on this evaluation 31 to passing. The more evaluation or the more PAs I can have, the more comfortable I feel about not caring what happens to any individual PA account. Let's see here. This chart. So this is a situation where if there's a setup here that's going right into the opening price, this is one of those where it's I'll call it a new rule. New rule for right now for me, because I'm supposed to take every trade, but I'm not gonna take a trade going right into a level like this, like right into the opening price. We can see that it's been resistance since the market opened, essentially. I mean, it broke out a little bit here, but it got held back here again when I took this trade. And this is an area where I will just skip a trade if they happen right into it from now on. Win or lose, I'm okay skipping it in that section there, in that area. All right, let me get back to the chat. Saggy says, you traded on Friday. I was busy. That's why I not came here. Yeah, cool. No problem. Gary says, what's the PT for the 25K account to pass? For the evaluation on Apex, you need 26,500. So you need to profit 1,500 on the account. And then when you move to a PA account, you need 26,600. So you need to make 1,600 to qualify for a payout. Just trying to decide if that's enough room for me to take it above this bar. I'm just going to watch this one and see what happens. I don't like that I'm so close to the opening price, even though there's probably room, but I'm just going to, I don't know how far away or how close to the opening price is like too close. So I want to kind of observe these a little bit because it's kind of in these areas where I've been taking some losses. Stream is 1 minute late. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the best upload speed on my internet, so I think the latency isn't very good in terms of being close to the market. So definitely don't try to take the trades I take because you'll be a minute behind. But you shouldn't be doing that anyway. You shouldn't. I'm not doing this for people to copy my trades, but I guess that's a built-in safety measure that people can't take my trades because I am a minute behind. I didn't know I was a full minute behind, so I'll just take your word for that. Interested to see if this trade would have worked. I think it will, but I think this is probably enough room to the opening price for me to take it. But I just know that these are the areas where I've seen myself get some losses, and maybe it's going to lose. Which I never want to see it lose because that means I'm losing a chart that I could trade on too, even if I don't take the trade. So let's see here. It'd still be in this trade right now if I was in. Oh, and I didn't pick my next account to trade with either yet. I forgot that. Let's bring up the wheel. All right, so removing 31. My next trade will be on evaluation 27. All right. So it seems like it's going to go ahead and end up working here. Now, something interesting on this chart. Is it this chart? Oh yeah, so 2800. Yeah, so this trade ended up working, even though it would have given me a scare if I was in the trade. That one's one I'm willing to skip just because we're so close to this level. That's clearly been resistance. So I need to, I'm willing to miss that trade in this case. Let's see. Gary says Eval 27, all in 10 contracts. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean, if I did that and got a win, I'd probably pass it. And at some point, honestly, my plan is to trade the evaluations a bit heavier right now. I'm just trading the 50K evals with 3 contracts. But I'm still searching for my very first payout on Apex ever. I've been at this a while. So until I get my money back, I'm in for about $2,000. I think right now it's just shy of $2,000 total. So one max payout on say this 50K will make me break even. And then one extra payout on any other account will put me in profit. So once I have secured a payout, even if it's just for break even, my plan is to trade a little bit heavier on evaluations, because I don't care if I burn evaluations. I mean, I'm only up to evaluation 35, and it's largely because I've been trading them. I talked about this on Friday a bit, where probably, I don't know, 90% of the time I've been trading with Apex. I was trading these accounts like they're real cash accounts and being very careful with them. And the only reason I'm even as high as 35 is because of all the 90% sales they've had over time. So there's been so many times where it's like my accounts are 80%, and then a renewal is coming up, but then they run the 90% sale. I'm like, well, why am I going to pay double the price if I could just buy a new account for half the price? 80% is like $30 and 90% is like $15, basically. So that's even the reason why I'm only this high on evaluation so far, up to the number 35. But I'd say the majority of times I just swapped out an account for a new one just to save, the $15 per evaluation. But once I do have a payout, my thinking is that I don't care if I burn evaluations. I want to just get through them faster. And I want to be able to concentrate on trading the PAs more eventually. Right now, I don't concentrate on any of the accounts per se. I just, especially now with the wheel, the spinning wheel, choosing my accounts, I'm not focusing on any account PA or evaluation. I'm just trading them randomly. Gary says 3 is still heavy if you're wrong. Yeah, 3. I mean, basically using signal bars as my risk factor, trading 3 contracts, I can easily get, $1,000 loss, $1,100 loss, even $1,200 loss. So when you only have a 2,500 drawdown, yeah, it's significant, But I talked about this on Friday and Thursday last week. My risk management now, the way I look at it, I don't look at trade these accounts like they're live cash accounts anymore. I look at it like what they are, which is I'm paying, in this case, currently $30 for my evaluations. 35 and 34 were both 90% off from this past round. I blew up one of them. And this account 35 was the 90% off. So it's $16 for that account. And that's how I'm looking at it. My PA accounts on average are $200 of my actual money, considering the evaluation it took to pass, plus the lifetime fee. So, my risk management, how I'm looking at it is if I lose a PA, I'm losing about $200 depending on the PA. On average. And if I'm losing an evaluation, I'm losing either $16 or $30. So, when I think about it in those terms, it takes the pressure off. I'm not like worried if I take a $500 hit or if I take $1,000 hit in terms of the trading. I didn't really lose $1,000. Like all of the money in all of these accounts are just, I like the way Alpine Trader talks about it. If you haven't listened to him lately, but he talks about it like they're tokens, at the arcade. I actually look at it like they're the tickets, like if you're playing skee ball and, you get a high score on skee ball and it spits out a bunch of tickets and you take those tickets and turn them in for a prize. That's what trading on Apex is to me. And I learned that from Alpine Trader. I kind of picked up on what he was saying as like, yeah, that's exactly right. I'm playing these PAs approximately on average $200 I spent to be able to play the game, for a chance to get paid out, a maximum of $2,000 on the 50K or a maximum of $1,500 on the evaluation on the 25Ks. And, everything I've made, I'm up almost $1,500 on PA2. That's tickets. I'm trying to build up enough tickets to take it to the gift shop and say, hey, I'd like my $2,000 payout, please. And that's how I'm looking at it. And it takes the pressure off, and it just makes it feel like it's not that I'm going to start YOLOing and trading crazy, but it just makes it feel like the loss isn't as painful and the wins aren't as high, and it just keeps me even. Where I'm able to take a loss like this and not even think about it really much at all. I mean, the only reason I'm thinking about this one is just because I got top ticked out, and I should have followed my rule where if the bar, here it is, if the my entry bar engulfs my signal bar, I'm supposed to move my stop to one tick above the previous swing. I was a little hesitant. I did it too late. It ticked me out just to go on and work. So I'm thinking about it more in that sense, that loss, than I am thinking about it in terms of like, oh no, I lost $500, because I didn't lose $500. The most I could lose on this account is $200. So, and that's the other great thing about trading Apex and prop accounts in general, is your max risk is defined. It's kind of like trading options. If you do like a credit spread or something, for anyone that knows options, your max risk is defined when you enter a credit spread on options, and you can't lose more than it, no matter what the stock does or the ETF or whatever you're trading. And so, I think it's been helpful for me to think about it this way. I still haven't got to the payout yet, but I'm keeping the faith that I can get there. Yeah, Gary says your mindset is right in this. Yeah. Yeah, these accounts are a loss when you buy, activate. Anything past that initial loss is a win. Yeah, I didn't see it that way for a really long time, but that's now how I look at it. Saggy said, today I took 3 trades and that 3 trades hit break even. Well, that's good. Break even's always good. I'll take break even over loss any day. So no setup here, unfortunately, for me. I'm on the wrong. I don't want to look at this chart anymore for trades. Actually, I lost another chart when I wasn't paying attention. This chart that I have my 2 wins on. There was a first entry short, second entry short that didn't go far enough. I think I was looking at a different chart, or I don't know what I was doing here. I was looking at the other chart for if it worked for the long on that chart, I guess. So let's see here. So I'm not going to play this chart anymore. Give me a second here. I'm just going to step away for a minute. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. No, sorry, I stepped away for a minute. Just taking a look here to see what I've missed. This was actually an entry, this engulfing bar right here. But I would not have taken this again because this is going right into the previous day's lows. You can see this red line here was the low, not yesterday, but Friday session. So I would have not taken that trade on that chart. And let's see here. Well, I got one other chart right now, which is this one. So this could be a trade here. First entry, second entry, right off opening price. It's an area of consideration. We'll see what happens here. Also near the EMA. An area was resistance, could become support right here. All right, seems like it's not going to happen, but let's see here. Looks like we're just falling through this level. So on the flip side, I wouldn't want to trade into it either. So at this point, we've got a 78 tick bar. So I'm going to cancel this order. It doesn't look like we're going to happen here. Getting to the point where the size is too big anyway. All right. $164 tick bar. Definitely not trading off of that. In about a half an hour, I'm going to have to leave the charts for probably about a half hour or so at that point. So I have to take my daughter to school this morning. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably leave my stream running and come back and see if there's any charts worth continuing to trade on at that point. But I'll let you know when I'm leaving. I'll put something on the screen just as a way until probably 9:15 Pacific Standard Time. 9:15, 9:20. Saggy says it's so frustrating when you're up 20 points and hit break even. When you're up 20 points, like on a trade, you're up 20 points, but that only got you back to break even. Is that what you mean? I mean, the way I'm trading, like there is no break even for me anymore because X amount of accounts are going to be positive and X amount of accounts are going to be negative every day. And when I take a loss, I'm never trying to get break even or get it back for 3 times. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the struggle. That's also part of the struggle with like a live cash account, you know, because I have traded a live cash account too before. And when you take a loss, you can never start making money until you make up the loss first. So if you're down $1,000, you need to make $1,000 just to be break even, just to then have a chance to start making money. But with prop accounts, that's not necessarily true because if you have multiple accounts, you know, I'm down $500 on this account, but I'm up on these 2 accounts, and I only need to make another, you know, $260 or whatever it is on evaluation 31 for it to pass. You know, so it's kind of like a different thinking or different mentality in that way. So yeah, I never have to like, it's kind of like what I like about how I'm trading right now is I don't have to ever concern myself with like trying to be break even or feeling like I'm down. Like, yeah, I mean, it's different being down on a PA account versus an evaluation, but it's only different because it costs more money for me to have the PA account. That's the only reason why it's different for me now. Spending $200 on this account versus spending, you know, $16 on this account. You know, I'm more willing to give up the $16 than the $200, obviously. But at the same time, neither one of them is real money until I hit the profit goal. You know, whether I turn this evaluation into a PA and then hit the profit goal there, or whether I hit the profit goal on this PA that's already here, it just doesn't matter. I don't need to feel like I need to get it back today. Also, you know, you have to trade the certain amount of days. So I've already fit the requirement of number of days you have to trade on my first 2 PAs here, 6 and 2. But I still have to trade 6 more days on PA 7, no matter what happens with how much I'm up or down. Saggy says, I just want to know how to develop this type of mindset. Yeah, I mean, look, it's taken me a really long time to get to the point where I'm thinking in this way. You know, a really long time. And again, I always suggest to anyone and everyone to watch Alpine Trader on YouTube, ALPINE, Alpine. Here. Alpine Trader on YouTube. I always suggest for anyone to watch him if you're trading prop firms because the mentality that I have and how I'm looking at these accounts now is truly because of him. So I really kind of learned it from him. And so I suggest anyone that isn't thinking about prop firms to think about it like him, because he's got over 100K in payouts from Apex already this year alone. And he only started trading Apex, I think something like May or April or May last year, something like that. So he's had a lot of success, and it's in a big way, it's because of how he looks at how he trades these accounts. And, he's gone through a ton of evaluations and PAs, but he just, he cashes out, he gets a payout, and then if he burns the account or whatever, he just got more evaluations behind it. And he's got 20 PAs basically been going at the same time for the past few months. And he's killing the game right now. So it's definitely a winning mentality for prop firms, I think. And I think if you're not looking at things the way I'm looking at it, and the way I've seen Alpine look at this, it's easy to say, okay, well, I'm down about $214 today because I've only made 162 and 122, but I've got this $500 loss, so I'm down for the day. Like, it's a red day, but I don't feel like I'm down for the day, honestly. Even though this was on a PA account and my wins are on evaluations, like, I feel like at worst I'm break even, because I feel like I'm one step closer on this evaluation. Forget this one. This is a wash. This account is under starting balance and nowhere near passing. And I think it might have a renewal coming up. I have to check. So I'd rather almost blow this account and let it reset and renew at the renewal date. So, I'll probably start trading bigger with it when I trade it, when I look to see what the date's going to be where it renews. But to me, it's like, okay, this one here offsets this one, because no matter what happens with this PA, if I can get another PA, I'll have another one in the stable, then it just it makes my odds or my chances of getting a payout sooner than later better. And it also makes it so, like, if I were to lose this PA, even though I'm still $1,000 away on the drawdown, but if I were to lose it, or this one, whichever, well, then I'll have another one. And so it doesn't matter if I lose it necessarily, because it's not a zero-sum game. If I lose the $200 I spent on this PA account and I spend another, call it 200 total on this one, well, it still is the fact that if this turns into a PA and gets a payout, this will still more than pay for this, So it's like, yeah, I'll be $400 in for the two PAs. So if I make $1,500 off of it, I'll only make, say, $1,100 if you look at it that way. But I'll still be up for those two specific PAs. You know what I mean? So that's just how I'm looking at it. Is like, it just takes all the pressure off. Shaggy says Monday equals low liquidity. Well, I think because, we were at all-time highs, and then yesterday, or on Friday, there was a sell-off. Yeah, there's no news generating anything today. Let me see here. $84 tick bar right here. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't realize that this just triggered above this bar. So it was an 84 tick bar, so I probably should be staying away from it anyway, and it looks like it's about to fail. So if this fails on this chart, that means I'm down to one chart left. I'll have to start looking for another chart. Now, I could be playing this as a failure because it's also a first entry, second entry short. But I don't like to take a trade after an entry loses on a chart. So even taking the failure in the second entry short is not something I want to take according to my system. You know, because this could go tick this out and then come back out and tick the short out also. Yeah, so I just never trust those. But yeah, this chart is officially burned now for me because I won't trade it again after an entry takes a loss. And this was a first entry, second entry. I'm glad I wasn't paying attention. I might have tried to take that. The only thing that maybe would have kept me out is the size of the bar being 84 ticks. So I've still got this chart here. And this chart's already basically 80 ticks. Just really large ATR. I mean, this chart's a 97 ATR. It's really big. I'm going to spend a few minutes here just seeing if I can find another chart. Problem is, likely if I have to find a bigger chart, then the ATR is just going to be even higher. And as the day goes on, I tend to have to look towards higher charts to find charts that haven't picked up losses because it makes sense too. The bigger charts are filtering out all the noise. So there's less entries, but more of them are going to work for such a small scalp target. $84 ticks means 8.4 points in NQ. Well, it's four ticks per point. So 84 divided by 4 is 21 points. So in your example, 84 ticks would be 21 points. I'm just going to try to find an additional chart to trade with. Otherwise, I'm just down to this one. The ATR is so high, it's really hard to trade this. All right, I've got a smaller chart here. I just found that has no losses, but it looks like it's going to pick up a loss right here. This was, yeah, this was a first entry, second entry above this bar. It looks like it's going to fail. Sagi says it's worth coming here and watching your stream. Thank you, man. Appreciate your work. Oh, all good. I appreciate you coming by. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing things a little bit differently, so sometimes it's helpful to just see someone that does things different than you do it, however you trade. I know that's definitely been helpful to me. It's just like being open to the way other people do things or trade, or maybe it's not even about the way I'm trading, but maybe it's about the way I'm trading my accounts, or just thinking, there's always something you pick up from other people. I definitely watch a lot of people, or I try to watch a lot of different people on YouTube just to see what's out there and what's going on. And I'm not that I'm going to necessarily trade like them, but you never know where you might pick up something that's helpful. All right, so I can't use this. I just found this chart, but I can't use it anymore. So I'm just going to keep looking. All right, go to this chart and see. So again, I still got two charts. Now I've got two charts, this one and this one. This one's better just because the ATR is much lower. It's a smaller tick chart. So my risk will be smaller on some of these, in theory. It looks like gonna go for a retest of the bottom. Again, I'm gonna have to leave here in about 15 minutes from now, 5 minutes at 8:45 Pacific Standard Time, and take my daughter to her school. It's not too far away, but usually takes me about 30 or so minutes by the time I leave. So likely be back around 9:15 to 9:20 a.m. Pacific. And then I'll just have to see what the charts look like when I get back, whether I'll still trade. Today's not terrible. It's like, it seems like I've been picking up a loss almost every single day lately, which is more than I was expecting. But I think it's also just because it's colored by the fact that I had 4 losses in one day last week. So that was like really a lot more than typical. All right, this bar is 95 ticks. So I am kind of trying to make it a hard rule, like anything over 80 ticks. Like maybe if it's 80 or 81, I might still take it. But if it's more than that, I really just shouldn't be taking those trades, because it just, if I do pick up a loss, and I've been picking up some more losses recently than I had been prior, it's just not worth it to do that much damage to an account. So I think that can be a hard rule I put in place. And I think it's reasonable to put that in place, even though there was a day last week where, maybe it was Friday, where it was like, I literally could have had a trade for every account, and I think they all would have won, but they were, really big bars. I mean, like 100 tick bars. So I think at a certain point, it's just reasonable to say, okay, just, you can't trade with that big of a risk, because the drawdown is just too small to support that. So I'll try to be smarter about that aspect of it in terms of taking every trade. Sagi asks me if I have any business. Yeah, I do. Not sure I really want to get into what I do for my main job, but I do. I'm not a full-time trader. I'll say it. I'll say it all the time. I'm not profitable trading futures. I've never gotten a payout on Apex, and I've blown up my own $2,000 cash account that I traded with for 2 years before it blew up. But yeah, I'm not profitable trading futures yet. So that's the goal, and the hope is to be able to, supplement my income at the least. And then who knows how big or how well I can do overall. But I'm so tempted to take this trade right now, but just an 87 tick bar. And if it engulfs the previous bar, that bar was 95 ticks. So it'll be larger than that. But yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to reveal more about myself in terms of what I do just yet. I'm a pretty private person, so that's why I don't like have a camera on me or anything like that. But yeah, the trading is not my main income. Saggy says, just friendly recommendation. Please open Instagram or Discord so we can also connect outside the chart. Yeah, I'll probably do that at some point. I'll probably do something like that at some point. Again, like I think I mentioned last week, I've only been streaming on YouTube for, maybe it's been a month now. Maybe it's been 4 weeks, something like that. So, I've been recording my trades and doing reviews and stuff of my trading since September. And, I hadn't had very many followers on YouTube. And now that I started streaming, it seems to be picking up a little bit. More people are finding me. So, that's something I'll consider if this channel continues to grow. Yeah, trading is not your main income, but you read charts like it's your main income. I appreciate that. I'm definitely nowhere near that level yet, but it'd be great if I can get there one day. I might be willing to take a trade here. This is the 21 EMA. All right. Picked up a win there, which was good timing because I'm going to have to stop in a minute. So this is trade number 4. On Eval 27. And I got, looks like 2 3/4 points, so 11 ticks. Unfortunately, only 11 ticks, but yeah, this looked like a good opportunity to get more than that, but it just didn't happen this time. Is there any consistency rule on Apex? On the PA accounts, there is a consistency rule of 30%. On the evaluations, no consistency rule. All right, let me update my stats here. All right, so 75% for the day. 4 trades. I am going to have to take a break here and go take my daughter to school. So I will be back today, probably in about 30 to 40 minutes from now. See. So yeah, I'll be back. If anyone's able to come back and join me, I'm going to leave the stream going and just make sure my accounts are turned off here. So yeah, I'm going to leave the stream going. So, you know, for whatever reason, if you just want to see the price action here, it'll be here. Otherwise, I'll be back in 30 to 40-ish minutes and see what we have when I get back. All right. See you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back. That took much longer than I was expecting because I forgot my daughter's shoes. Made it halfway to school and had to come back, get her shoes, and go back again. So that was fun. What did I miss? All right. Do I have any charts left? Let's see. I wonder how I can see when people leave their. It doesn't tell me like what time the chat message came in. Gary said at some point when I was away, best trading day cannot be better than 30% total against. Oh yeah, he was answering the question. Okay. If so, you just need to make more or trade more days, right? Yeah, I think I answered that question right before I left, but thank you for saying so, Gary. That is correct. Looks like this chart would have taken a loss. First entry short, second entry short under this bullish bar. So that's exactly, this is exactly the kind of trade that, like I have very limited rules now, like barely trading with any rules, but this is a rule. There was a time where, I was saying I'll take every entry on a winning chart, and this chart had no losers for the entire session today, up until first entry short, second entry short below a bullish bar, but more importantly, going short right into the opening price, which is the white line. And that's just an area that I would have skipped this trade for that reason, because I'll use it as a support to go long off of it, but I would not trade short into it. So that's another example of showing an area where I don't want to trade. My last trade before I left, it was like right before I left to take my daughter to school, I took a short. Now this one is a trade I would never take with my normal old school rules. It was a bullish bar closed above the EMA. There's a first entry short, second entry short below that bar. But with this strategy, when I have a winning chart and it's just something like this, I'm not afraid of trading through the EMA anymore. Even after a bullish bar. Now, if there was a second bullish bar and then it was like a bullish bar and trading right into the EMA, that would be different. But this one, even though it closed above the EMA, the trigger was below it. So I had a pretty confident feeling that if it triggered below it, then it was just going to work for my scalp, and it worked for way more than my scalp. But unfortunately, I only picked up 11 ticks that time. So I can't trade this chart anymore. And I only had 2 charts left when I left, which means I've only got 1 chart again, which would be this one. Haven't taken any trades on this today. The ATR in this chart is still extremely high, almost 97 ticks. So it'll be really difficult to take a trade when it looks like all these bars are like around 100 ticks. I'm going to, what is that box? I'm going to look and see if there's any more charts. I might as well spin just to see what the next account will be that I trade. Eval 27 is the account I traded last, so I'll remove that one. So if I am to take another trade, it'll be evaluation 33. All right. And I realized on that wheel, the way I put the numbers in, they're all like all the PAs were next to each other and all the evaluations are next to each other. I'm going to like mix them up in my list as well, so that there's just some more separation and randomness to the pick. But eval 33 will be next if I get a trade. Let's see, eval 33, still a ways to go. After my win today, eval 31 getting close to passing. Another trade or two, depending on how many ticks I get. 27, now less than 1,000 away from passing that one. So I've got a couple accounts that are getting close, and a couple accounts that are in good shape, and one in bad shape, and then 2 PAs that are under the starting balance. So a lot of work to do. It's also, I mean, typically I don't want to really trade much past this time, because if there are losses that are going to come to charts, this is around the time it's going to happen. But since I just missed an hour of trading, I mean, this is kind of how my trading days have been lately, is like 3 and 1 is kind of, I feel like that's been happening quite a bit, like getting a loss. Seems like almost every day lately, the past week. But also just trading 4 accounts. I would like to be able to try to trade as many of my active accounts as possible. Let's see. What am I going to do? Let me think about what I'm going to do here. All right, I'm just looking to see if I can find one more chart to trade with. Doing a little search, seeing if there's anything. Otherwise, there's only one chart. And it's a bigger chart with big risk. All these bars are like 85 ticks and more. So I don't know that I really want to trade off of it. I did just find another one, but man, the bars are huge. Let me set this up. This is all right, there's actually one right here. First entry long, second entry long. I wasn't ready to take this yet. Again, huge bar, so I don't know that I want to take that. And then on the other chart that I had up, it's also just triggered. I would think this would work, but I just wasn't ready yet. This also 85 tick bar, so I feel like I should not be taking 85 tick risk trades or more. Gary says, laugh out loud. That's massive. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm going for like 11 to, 25 ticks typically. So 85 tick risk is not ideal. Especially, I mean, at this time too, my theory on the way I'm trading, because I'm looking for these charts where every second entry is working for my profit target, and those are the charts I'm trading. My theory is that most days a loss will come on the chart if you trade long enough, right? So I like to be trading by 7 in the morning, West Coast latest, and then I like to be done by like 9 to 9:30, and then my theory is that like around that time, based on my observations, is typically if there's a chart that hasn't picked up any losses for an entry yet, that's around the time where losses can start to come, or typically do start to come. So that's why I try to, or I like to be done by like 9:30 typically. But because I was away for like an hour today, missed a bunch of trading, I'm considering still taking a trade. This trade would have already worked if I had taken it. But I wasn't even on, I was looking for the other chart. I just got the other chart loaded into my YouTube so that I can use either one. And then I came back to this one, both triggered before I could even consider whether to take it or not based on the risk or not. But what worked? And that's the thing. It's like, even though the risk is massive, like the odds are still on my side that the trade's going to work, going for such a small amount. I mean, think about it. The bar is 85 ticks, but how hard is it to just go, 11, 12 ticks above the previous bar? It's like nothing at that point. So on the one hand, it's like the risk is huge, but also the chances of it working are in a way even better because it's such a small amount to move on a day where the bars are so huge. So, look, this is just going way past what I would have needed. Would have entered at 32 and the high is at 37.75. So it's already gone 5 3/4 points. Gary says correct. Yeah. So, it's a tough thing because, it's like the fear sets in when the risk is so big. It's like you don't want to put the accounts at that kind of, you don't want to put the accounts at risk of losing a massive loss like that per account. But at the same time, it just typically still will work, so, if I had no losses today and just the charts were working, I wasn't losing charts. I wasn't getting charts that weren't working and having to ditch them. Then I'd probably be more willing to take a trade like that, especially because this trade is, again, it's using the opening price, this dotted white line, as support. And so I'll use it as support and trade off of it. But if it was underneath the opening price and trading into it, then, if the bar was down here and there's just like that little bit of room to that opening price, then I would skip it for sure. So today's interesting because, if you were to add up all my accounts, I'm taking one trade per account, I'm basically break even. I'm down $75. It's probably the cost of commissions, right? For the day on 4 trades. Actually, I could probably even see that. Commissions are a little bit less. Commissions are half of it, $39. But it is interesting just because, I'm down $75 overall. So, if I was trading one account, or let's say I was trading a cash account, or however you want to look at it, if I was trading one account, I'd be down $75 for the day, being 3 and 1. But spreading out the risk across accounts, I'm down on a PA account, and that's not cool. I don't like that. But I've made progress on 2 accounts that are getting closer to passing the evaluation. So on a day where it's not a great day, it's not a terrible day, I'm basically down $75 if you add it all up. But I'm taking advantage of the multiple accounts, and I'm ahead on 2 accounts. One account, okay, I'm ahead on, but who cares? It's under the starting balance, and it's going to be renewing somewhat soon, I think. So this one I don't really care about, but these 2 I've managed to improve upon and be, one trade closer to passing. So instead of wasting those wins and just trying to get back to where I was on this one account, which, for some people, maybe that's important. But for me, I want to be progressing on more accounts than the accounts that I'm not progressing on. And so in this case, 2 accounts are in better shape and on their way, and 1 setback is how I look at it. This price action, though, is just typical Monday price action, right? Like after all-time highs and after a sell-off on Friday, it's choppy mess, pretty tight range. If you draw it, kind of something like that, maybe. But since the open, the range is more like this. So it's just pretty tight range. 240 to 160-ish. 80 points. It's pretty tight for NQ. Gary, looking at it like that, you're at a 75% win rate today. Not bad. Right. Yeah. And I keep track of my stats over here in the corner. So yeah, I'm 75% today. I don't like how. Let's make it look like that. 75%, not bad. But again, if just trading on one account, 75% makes me down $75 for the day. And while I would feel better about my loss on this account if it was only down $75, I'm actually happy that I'm progressing on 2 other accounts today and getting closer to passing the evaluation. And I'm willing to take the hit on this account today. That's just how my strategy plays out. And it sucks because I've, honestly been taking more losses on my PAs probably than I even have been on my evaluations. If you look at it on these kinds of days, I'm just kind of getting unlucky because I'm trading these accounts randomly. I'm just kind of getting unlucky where, my loss is landing on a PA account more often than not when I get the loss than on the evaluations lately. It seems like it anyway. Like this account, I keep getting it over the starting balance by a couple $100, and then I keep getting a loss and getting knocked back. And it's like, this is probably like the 3rd time now where I got set back to below the starting balance. But it's not that big of a deal. I got $1,000 drawdown. I'm only 300 below starting balance. And I just don't let it affect me. This one, one trade, I'm over starting balance. So they're basically in the same place. One trade, they're back at starting balance or better. So it's just not really a big deal. I'm not going to concern myself with it. And to me, it's I'd rather get a payout on a PA account before I have to pay for more fees, especially more PA fees. But this is the game I'm in. So if there's more PA fees that come first, then I'm gonna just need more than one max payout to be break even. But it's putting me in position where the more PA accounts I have, the more that I'll be spreading out my trades between PA accounts and less on evaluations. And so in theory, my theory is that, since typically every day I have more wins than losses, more wins than losses are going to start hitting these PA accounts. And if I could get a fourth one or a fifth one, that's more chances for more wins on those accounts every day. And then eventually, one by one, hopefully they'll start hitting payouts, right? And then depending on how that goes, because once I take max payout on any of these PA accounts, the 25Ks are going to get blown if and when I can ever take a max payout. So I know I'm going to lose those right away. The 50Ks have a chance of surviving because they'll have about 600 drawdown or 500, depending. But at least they'll have a little bit of wiggle room that I can take a trade and it can draw against me a little bit. And I can trade, one contract to start or something and try to build it back up. But I'm definitely taking max payouts, no matter what accounts. I don't care. I'm in for just shy of $2,000 to Apex right now. So one max payout on the 50K, slightly better than break even, barely. If I have to pay more fees, I may be only break even or slightly down. And then any payout after that puts me into profit. And I've only started trading this way just super recently. So as far as trading these accounts this way, so it's not going to take much. I really believe it. It's not going to take much for me to hit the break even point. If I get a payout on the 25K first, I'll be, I'll still be slightly red. By about $500 at that point. So depending on which payout comes first, and how long it takes before I'm paying more PA fee or more evaluation fees or PA fees to make more PAs. But this is so new the way I'm trading. It's only been a couple weeks, and there's been days where I haven't stuck to this. So, but I feel really good about the strategy for my risk management. So I think this is going to be easier for me to stick to and just trade this way. Man, I haven't been paying attention. There was a trade right here, engulfing. Oh, but it was right into the open, so I wouldn't have wanted to take that regardless, but it would have worked. But yeah, I feel good about things. It's amazing trading this way now. I used to get really upset with a loss. If I were to take a $500 loss on my PA, that used to really get to me, and I'd just tear myself apart. Why did I take that trade? How come I didn't see this thing and that thing and the other thing that could have kept me out of the trade? I should have known better, and I'd just analyze it and be like, man, I missed a rule or this or that. And it would just really affect me, and then to be further away from the goal, further away from a payout, like I said, I am $2,000 deep pretty much right now, for Apex. So yeah, the way I was trading before, where I was treating these accounts like cash accounts, that would feel really devastating to me. And before I was copy trading accounts together too. So a loss like this, it wasn't just $500 loss. It was at least another $500 loss on another account at the same time. So it was just really feeling a lot of pressure, and just, the losses just felt daunting. And now the losses don't feel bad to me. So I think that's really important. It's no matter what, losses are going to come. If you can get to a place in your trading where you can take a $500 hit and not feel like bad about it, or feel like it ruins your day, or feel like you need to get it back right away, because that's what triggers the, like, you know, that's like a trigger for getting into YOLOing or revenge trading. So if you can eliminate from that, if you can eliminate those feelings from your trading, you know, regardless, that's already one step better than something you were doing otherwise. You know, for me, that's the truth. Like, I didn't have a lot of episodes of revenge trading, but when it would happen, I mean, the end of last year is an example. You could go back and watch my videos sometime, it must have been December, end of November, something like that, where I just started blowing up PA accounts. I used to have PA 1 through 5 the end of last year, and I blew up every PA account that I was trading with. So PA 1, 3, 4, and 5. And at the end, it was just, I mean, I was just literally just FOMO YOLOing, you know, just on a seek and destroy mission of those accounts. And so trading this way, it just doesn't happen to me anymore, because I'm only going to trade my setups, and I'm only going to trade on charts that haven't picked up a loss yet. And so there's just like a lot of like risk management factors built into my trading now. It's like, you know, my strategy is I'm looking for entries that charts where the entries are always working for my profit target. If one of my charts doesn't work, whether I'm in the trade or not, I won't trade that chart anymore. So right there, that's like a form of risk management, right? Like, just being able to eliminate a chart is like a form of risk management, because it's one less chart that I'm willing to trade on. And so less trades that can come that I'm going to be willing to take. So that's one form of risk management. The second form of risk management is how I'm spreading out the trades amongst accounts. So any one loss is never going to blow up an account. So as long as I stick to this, any single loss will never blow up an account in one day. It will always take a second day and another trade at the minimum to blow up an account. You know, so like if I got a loss here, like at the minimum, it's going to take me trading again tomorrow and getting another loss tomorrow for me to have that account in danger. And if I have a similar loss, I'll still have a little bit of wiggle room to the drawdown. So it won't be quite blown yet. Now, if I'm trading these larger bars, you know, if I happen to take a trade on a 100 tick bar tomorrow on this account and get a loss, then yeah, I might blow it up tomorrow. But the key for me is that there's never going to be a day that's a bender that's like, oh, I'm going to blow up this account today and then I'm going to blow up this account. It's just the likelihood of it happening is like really small, right? So that's another form of my risk management. Then the other form of my risk management is like I'm talking about with the size of the bars. And typically I haven't been caring about the size of the bars since I started trading every entry on good charts. But I recently decided, just in the last few days, especially because last week I did have a day where I had 4 losses in a single day, which was the most for me trading this way. You know, I did decide, well, if those days can happen, which I wasn't expecting a day like that to happen, honestly. It was the first time I've seen it happen in over 2 months. But knowing that those days can come, having had it happen last week, I'm just thinking to myself, well, if I'm taking 100 tick bar risk on these trades and I get 4 losses, then I'm going to do major damage to 4 charts on the same day, or 4 accounts on the same day. So because of that, I'm kind of making it a soft rule right now that like I don't want to trade 80 ticks or charts. Can't talk. I'm so tired from this time change. I don't want to trade bars that are larger than 80 ticks is what I'm trying to keep it at the high end of my risk. That's still big risk, but that's where I'm trying to cut it off right now, like 80 ticks being the maximum, even though they still work a lot. So that's another form of my risk management. And then my last risk management is just, you know, I have been taking every single entry on my charts when they're good. But now I'm not taking entries like this one if it's going into a key point on the chart. like in this case, trading into the opening price of the white dotted line, if I'm trading short into that when it's been kind of like being resistance and support at the same time here all day, I don't want to trade right into that, because a lot of times it'll trade into that and just bounce up, it'll act as support or resistance. Now, this is always interesting on these days where it's like the bars are going through it. But you can see, I mean, the whole day, that's since the market opened, that's been it's peaked out, but every time it peaks out, it falls back in. So that's been the resistance point, is around this opening price. It's a little bit higher. It's probably around there, I guess. But you can see that it's like it's being it's got a little room above the opening price, but it's essentially the resistance of the day. So I'm just being careful now in those areas, and that's like kind of the last form of risk management, is just the limited rules in certain spots on the chart to keep me out of trades that I've noticed are places where I've picked up more losses recently. So yeah, I mean, I missed this trade. I wasn't paying attention, but it would have broken my newest rule, which is to just not trade into an area that can be a support or resistance. So I'm fine with missing that. And it's already 10:15. So these bars are huge. I mean, how big was this bar? This bar is 75 ticks here, and this one engulfed it. So this bar was 106 ticks. Where's the low? 26.75. 21. So 6. I say. So 5 points. So I could shave off 5 points, which is 20 ticks. So I'm talking about 86 tick risk if I were to take this trade, which is just slightly bigger than I really want to be risking. So honestly, I think I'm going to just call it here. The bars are really big, and it's getting late in the day. If the two charts I'm looking at that have been working all day, if they're going to start picking up losses, it can happen at any point right now. It's kind of how I feel about it. So 3-1, 75%. It's a little bit, I'm not going to lie. Like it seems like the past week I've been getting a loss every single day for the most part, which is more than I've been expecting to get. I typically expect to get usually all winning. What am I trying to say? I'm just trying to fix the alignment here, see why it's out. I honestly expect to get all winning trades most days. And I'm only 80% overall for the year, so I really shouldn't feel that way. But because I'm trading a limited time window, I actually do kind of have a certain kind of expectation that I'll be, 5-0, 6-0 kind of thing for the day, 4-0, 7-0. Now, if I trade longer or if I take more trades, then I start to think, well, maybe I'll be 7-1, 8-1. That's kind of my expectations for the day. But lately, I really have been getting like at least one loss a day. So I got to think about that. If I'm trading 8 accounts, which I'm currently trading because 2 of them are blown up and just waiting for them to renew and reset. So if I'm trading 8 accounts a day and I'm only getting 4 trades a day and one of them's a loss, I think the system still can work, but it's working really slowly. So it's really hard to gauge where I'm headed, what the outcome's going to be trading this way. I really was expecting to trade one trade for each account every single day, especially when I only have 8 accounts active. When I have 10 accounts active, I think there's going to be a couple accounts that don't get a trade. But every day is different. I don't want to place those kinds of like limiting thoughts on what's happening. I just want to let it play out and kind of collect a data set and see how it goes over a period of time. And even though I've basically been trading this way since the beginning of the year, I have changed a number of things about my trading just in the last couple weeks. Primarily the trading one account at a time and one trade at a time, and moving on to the next account after a single trade. That's really pretty new. Not going back even to the beginning of the year, and trading every entry, regardless of any rules for the most part. I've only been doing for a couple weeks. So it's a little hard to gauge where I'm at and how this is playing out, because I have kind of like a mixed set of data right now. The good thing about what I'm saying is, at least over a large number of trades, where I'm at 158 trades now for the year, I'm at 80%. So that's a good sign. I'm winning 4 out of 5 trades on average. So that's good, 8 out of 10. And I think that can still work with this strategy of how I'm using the accounts. I think that can still play out over time in my favor. The question is, if I'm only getting 4 trades a day and not 8 trades a day, how it plays out. And then also the other newest thing I did was the way I'm spinning this wheel to choose which accounts I'm trading only started on Friday. So, 33 would have been the next account I trade, and then I would have had 3 more accounts left that I spin the wheel and decide. So that's new. And I like that aspect of it too, because it just makes everything more random, where the wins fall, where the losses fall. It's exactly how I want to be trading. I want to take like as much of my own analysis and my own thinking and my own thought patterns and even decisions about which account to trade next. I want to take all of that and strip it out of my trading and leave all of that subjectivity out of it. And I'm trying to design a strategy where, everything about it is like randomized and based on the charts themselves, based on consistency of charts working for my target profit, and taking the bulk of my thinking out of it so that it's as close to a black and white trading style strategy as I can get to. So I think there's a number of things I've done to make that happen. And now it's just literally down to, just sticking to what I'm doing and seeing how it plays out over time. So we'll see. I think it's going to take another couple months to really have a good idea. We're at the beginning of March. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it takes March, April, and like May, and see where I'm at in May, and have an idea whether this is working or not working. So far, I'm having some bad luck where some losses are falling on my PA accounts. I can already think 4 of my most recent losses have been spread out between my 3 PA accounts, because this account was at just over 52,000. I took a loss. This account was over 50,000. I took a loss. I built it back up. I took another loss today and back below starting balance. And then this one, I was above starting balance and took a loss and got set back below starting balance. So 4 losses spread out just between 3 accounts recently. But also much of that was before I was randomizing which accounts I would take as the next trade. So like before I was like looking like, oh, what should I do? So I'd start the day, I'd be, a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Wary or just feel like, oh, if I take a trade on my PA account, I'm going to have bad luck and my first trade is going to be a loss, And today, like for instance, my first trade today was a loss. Where was it on this chart? Trade number one. The first trade out of the gate was a loss by a single tick. Got top ticked by a single tick. Would have gone on to work. And that was a trade one. And my wheel picked the PA account first. So, whereas I used to make a decision like, oh, I don't want to trade PA first because I feel like if I'm going to get a loss, it's going to happen on the first trade. Because that's kind of where my losses have come lately, is like the first trade out of the gate, I get a loss. But my wheel, my wheel randomizer, whatever you want to call it, picked PA6. So that's the account I traded. Got top ticked. I was so close to moving the stop above this bar. That would have saved me, in theory. I mean, you never know what's going to happen if you move it. Maybe it still hunts it, but in theory, these accounts are all sim, so there's no market maker that's able to see my stops, right? So got the loss there, but then spin the wheel and just let the wheel pick my next account instead of like thinking like, oh well, this account is getting close to passing, so I just picked up a loss. I don't want to trade this account next. Because I don't want to pick up a loss on it because it's so close to passing. No, now I have a wheel that just randomly picks the next account and I trade what it picks. And I like that, taking my own thinking out of it, taking my, not having another decision to make about which account. To me, that's going to work for me. I like it a lot. So, all right, I'm going to call it for the day. I think I said that 10 minutes ago. The 71% discount is still going on from Apex. You could use this code or any other. And I believe it goes to March 14. So that's, when is that? Wednesday? Thursday? I don't know. March 14, I believe, is the date. The 3-day pass expires the same day, I believe. I think today is the last day where you can purchase an evaluation, trade it today, and still be able to pass it in the 3 days. And then once they take away the 3-day pass, so if you buy an evaluation tomorrow and you pass it in 3 days, well, the 3-day pass is going to be over already. So even though you hit the target in 3 days from tomorrow, you're not going to pass the account in 3 days, because if they put it back to a 7-day pass, then your account is now going to fall under the 7-day pass rule. So just be aware of that. Don't buy evaluations tomorrow thinking that the 3-day pass will still work. You have to buy them today and trade today for it to work. That's my understanding anyway. Go to the website and make sure, check it out before you buy any accounts. But I believe today is the last day to make it work. Also, the $35 resets, I believe, is still going on until the same date, March 14th. You don't need a code for that. You just buy a reset and it will give you it for $35 no matter the size of the account. And like and subscribe if this is at all interesting to you, and we'll see where I go next. Hopefully we'll pick up a win on my PAs tomorrow. Be really great to pick up a win on all 3 of them tomorrow. And if I hit a loss somewhere, hopefully the loss comes on an evaluation, if not at all. And, getting close to passing some evaluations. Really, it's just going to take a few more trades to get really close to the payout on PA2 again. So definitely want to avoid any losses there. I've got about $2,000, maybe, what is it? Just under $2,000 drawdown on the 50K. So we'll see how that plays out. And 3 and 1 for the day. Not great, not terrible, not bad, not the best, not the worst. And that just keeps my trading even, keeps my emotions even. And I'm not going to walk away from today feeling like terrible and having a bad day because I took a hit on the PA account. So in terms of my psychology, I'm in the best place I can possibly be, even taking a $500 hit on a PA account. So take that for what you will. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. I don't know what happened at the beginning of my stream. My first trade, when I took this trade, after I took it, I noticed that the stream had ended. So I don't know if it recorded or if it was streaming when the trade happened or not. I hope it did because I want to be able to look back and see it. So there's actually another like 5-minute live stream clip from today. Hopefully it caught it because I'd like to be able to look back at it and see if it did catch it, you'll see I was so close to moving my stop. Like I had, I had the stop. It was in my hand. I was holding it above this bar, and it's just a matter of making the decision to drop it a little bit higher than where it was originally. And I decided to do it, but I did it just at the very last second, and it took me out of the trade before I did it. So I almost saved myself a loss there, but unfortunately, I have to accept it. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow, usual time. I mean, with the time change, it was so hard for me to get out of bed today, losing an hour of sleep. It was already so hard for me to get up at my usual 6:30 in the morning and to make it in time for like 6:45 to 7, and then moving the clocks forward for the spring forward daylight savings time. It's essentially 5:30 in the morning when I woke up today, and it felt like 5:30 in the morning. I'm a terrible morning person, so it was really hard to get up. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm late. Like again, I don't know what time I started today, but I was definitely late, I think, and I'll probably be late this whole week for all I know. But I typically should be on by 7 West Coast, so 10 o'clock on the East Coast for anyone that's looking for me. All right, I'm out of here. Hope you guys had a good trading day. Let me make sure there's no comments before I leave. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Saggy, for watching, and anyone else that has joined. And I'll be back at it tomorrow. Hope you guys had a good trading day.